back to our Talking Tip Tuesday. Today we're talking about growing your child's attention span. So, we've been talking about these pre-linguistic skills or these language readiness skills that your child needs to have to be able to communicate. Today we're talking about our next one, which is attention. Before we talked about taking turns and how that we do that back and forth. Now we're kind of starting to expand that time, and we're seeing some our children start focus for a little bit longer. When we're thinking about typical development and the type attention span we would like to see, I always say their age plus 2 minutes. So if your child's 1, we'd like to see them attend for 3 minutes. If your child's 2, we'd like to see them attend for 4 minutes. On average, between 3 and 6 minutes for the kids and early on. So what does it kind of look like if your child's struggling with attention or a long attention span? This can look like they have a hard time sitting and attending to a book. They kind of just want to flip through the pages really quickly, or they kind of jump from toy to toy to toy. They're not ever really sitting and playing with something for a couple of minutes. They constantly need something new that's kind of piquing their interest. It looks like them wanting to get the Play-Doh out, but then 2 minutes later they've abandoned it and run away because it's lost their attention. We're talking about them being able to sit, attend, like I said, but for those 3 to 6 minutes without any new stimulation or anything grabbing their attention. We really want kids to learn how to do that on their own because it sets the stage later too for when they start school, being able to attend and learn. This is teaching them how to focus, and then we slowly start increasing those stretches that they're able to do that as they grow older. So, when we look at attention span and kids struggling with attention too, we often have to look at their screen time. So screens, TV, iPads, those, tablets, things that can seem very educational, like learning programs and learning games, actually teach our kids to have short attention spans. They teach them to only focus on something for between 3 and 5 seconds and then move on to the next. The reason they make kids TV shows and movies the way they do is that it's changing the scene every couple minutes, every couple seconds, and giving them something new to look at to re-grab their attention. So it's teaching them what we call a scan and shift behavior. It means you're not actually taking the time to think and process what's going on in the TV. You're scanning it, you're seeing, and then you're moving and shifting to the next thing. Which is why sometimes we start to see those behaviors even in their play and in the way they interact with other people. So, we really have to make sure that we're teaching them to sit and sustain on something for a long time and not that scan and shift behavior, because this is going to cause them to have a lot of communication breakdowns and have a hard time learning to talk. So what do we do to increase attention span? So something to teach focus are a lot of the same things that we actually did in our taking turns and teaching how to take turns. It just means that we're changing the environment the child is in, not actually the child. So it's you making yourself interesting to look at and be around. Keep your child with you and try to get them to interact with the things that you're doing. It can look like, oh, help me change the laundry over from the washer to the dryer. Help me put the things into the dryer, and doing that for a minute or two. At first it might just be we're doing something for 30 seconds and then slowly building up that time to a minute or two, or we're sitting and we're playing for a minute and then moving on to the next thing, but slowly building their tolerance to playing with things. And it can, great toys are like blocks or Play-Doh or kinetic sand, things that kind of give them a lot of sensory experiences, but are also keeping them to one task for a little while. Meal times, teaching them to sit and eat a meal instead of more of that as I'm walking I kind of graze and snack. Sitting down for those 3 meals, or whenever you're home, that dinner time teaches them to attend to that meal for even if it's just 5 minutes, having them sit in their high chair and eat something. Because if they're constantly just grazing, again, that's that scan and shift of I'm going to grab something and then something else is getting my attention, and then I come back and I get something and then my attention's going somewhere else. So just working on slowly building up the time they tolerate things. So next week we're going to be talking about joint attention, which is the next step of attention. And if you have any questions about today's video, please feel free to reach out to your service coordinator.